Hi everyone, so welcome to this Arch Linux Rising video again. In this video we'll talk about shells and terminal emulators. And the shells that we will talk about today is Bash and Z shell, because I am familiar with two of them and I'm not familiar yet with the other ones like Fish or Nu shell. And the terminal that we will talk about is Kitty today, because Kitty is powerful. We'll talk about how to customize the shells and the terminal emulator as well in this video. First of all, you can open your terminal in Hyprland by using Super Q if you haven't remapped anything. And yeah, the terminal window will appear just like this. And by default, the shell used here is Bash. You can check it out by doing echo $shell, and as you can see, it's user/bin/bash as the default shell. For information, Bash is great for scripting, stable, well documented, and works everywhere, but Bash is more bare bone. And for risers, I recommend using Z shell because Z shell is rich in plugins that you can use, like all my Z shell, power level 10k and stuff, and has a great autocomplete, and you can do some custom themes. To install Z shell, you can just do the usual stuff by using pacman. Z shell like that. Enter your password. And you can just Y here. Already installed the shell, so it says reinstalling like that. So after installed Z shell, you can change your shell to Z shell by using chsh L to list out where is Z shell located here. And it's located in here, user/bin/Z shell. And now you can just do chsh S to change the shell, and you can just use the Z shell path here, /bin/Z shell, like that. And now it's changed, and now you can just reboot. After you reboot, the shell should be changed to Z shell. You can try to open terminal again now. And as you can see it here, it is now Z shell. And here we get this pop-up. As you can see, like it's the start up of Z shell. Here you can just Q, and then you can just do touch.zshell.rc to create the Z shell config file. And when you close, now the pop-up will not show anymore, just like that. Now we want to customize Z shell. To customize Z shell, we want to install power level 10k. To do that, we can open our browser here. Open our browser. We can search power level 10k. Oops. Like that. You can copy this. You can paste. I'll put the code snippet here on the video description, so you can just copy and paste it easier rather than going to the GitHub repo. By the way, you have to install some fonts for the power level 10k to show like icons and stuff. It's recommended for you to have Meslo or Nerd fonts installed on your system, so the icons are available and not missing. From the last video, we already installed Meslo font, so we should have icons available in the system. Nice, now it's installed. As you can see here, there's an optional dependency for the shell power level 10k like this. It is the TTF Meslo nerd font, and yes, we have this, the TTF Meslo nerd font power level 10k terminal installed on our system. Now we want to clear this out, and now I want to do a source.zshellrc. We will be greeted with this configuration. As you can see, power level 10k configuration. You can follow the setup here, and you can customize your setup as you want it. I'll do mine here. So does this look like a diamond? Yes. Look like a lock? Yes. Upwards arrow? Yes. Pointing on the second number 1, and then upwards arrow? Yes. No overlap. Here you can choose between like the styles. I prefer the pure. For the color, I prefer the snazzy. I prefer the right. I prefer the 24-hour format. I prefer one line. I prefer sparse. And then I prefer nope. And here you can just pick verbose. And then you want to apply the changes to your zshellrc. Yes. Like that. Okay, now it's just clear. Now as you can see, zshell or your shell should look pretty nice like this. You can do something like this. And yeah, looks really clean. Okay, because we just configured our zshell, we want to also include our Zoc side. As you remember from our last video, it's the better version of CD. So we want to add Zoc side on our .zshellrc. You can do that by using your VS Code or Vim. I will use Vim here. .zshellrc. We want to put the thing here. Eval $. Zoc side init zshell, like that. And then we want to source our zshellrc to update the thing. So now you should have z as your cd. So z config z something. Yep, just like that. So after we install zshell and power level 10k, let's talk about the terminal emulator here. So we will pick Kitty as our terminal emulator. The reason why we pick Kitty is because Kitty is pretty powerful. You can have a terminal multiplexer just like Tmux. You can also have image rendering. You can try it by, for example, here using a terminal based or command line based file manager like Yazi. You can try to install Yazi like that. Then Yazi, you can go to, for example, here Zenities. You can preview the images like right inside your terminal, and that is really nice. Like that. Yazi is a file manager for terminal, and it's pretty easy to use and customize. We'll talk about that like in the future videos. Okay, for example, here for the multiplexer, you can use Control Shift Enter to create a new pane like this. You can change the layout by using Control Shift L to change the layouts. You can remove it by using Control Shift W. You can also move the focus by using Control Shift F for clockwise cycling, or B for counterclockwise cycling, like that. You can also change the pane focus by using Control Shift numbers. You can take a look at the numbers by using Control Shift F7 to check the numbering. For example, I want to go to number 3. I can just do Control Shift number 3 like that. And you can also resize by using Control Shift R. Then you can just hold Control, and for example, I want it to be wider, just Control W, or narrower, so N, taller, so T, shorter, so S, or you can just reset by clicking R, like that. And this thing is resizing the focused pane, like that. And then you can also create new tabs by using Control Shift T, like that. You can navigate through the tabs by using Control Shift arrow keys, like that. You can also create a new pane here, like that. I mean, it's pretty powerful. It's pretty much like Tmux, except when we quit this thing, the apps are closed. Where if we use Tmux, the apps will be still running because it has a Tmux session that is like persistent even though you've closed your terminal, like that. Now we want to try to customize our Kitty terminal. To do that, we can navigate to .config/kitty right here. You can also check if you have any configurations. If not, you can do touch kitty.conf, like that. And then you can now edit the kitty.conf file. Okay, the first thing that I want to do is to add this thing, the load config file. So basically, we're going to assign a key combination to do a config reload, since kitty config is not hard reloading, so we have to map that out. Let's just add here a reload kitty config, like that. Then map, going to map the control plus shift plus F5 to load config file, like that. We want to also add appearance. We want to change the font size. I want to make it big for the video, 24. And then I want to change the font family to my favorite font, EOSFK. Before you put the font here, you have to make sure that you have the font already installed on your system. Because we just add this thing here, we have to still reload this thing. So we want to quit our kitty and reopen our kitty. And then the reload keybind will be available after that. So we want to exit. Now we want to open our terminal again. Font is now changed. We can go back to kitty config again. We can then vim our kitty config, like that. Then for example, I will show you how the config reload load config file or the configuration reload is working. So for example, here I'm changing the font to 20 and then save the file, and then I can just do Control Shift F5 and it will reload just like that. Yes, I want to put it back to like that. Nice. Now the next thing is I want to change the control of the tab focusing and tab resizing, because by default it is mapped like pretty awkwardly. So I want to change it to match FIM navigations, like using home row. So you can resize or change the focus by using HJKL, like that. To do that, we can just, for example, here I'm just going to add a comment here. Tab focus control. Then we can do here map. I will use Alt for the focus change. So Alt plus H for neighboring window left, like that. We can just copy that, paste it 4 times. Oops, too much. H L J K, and then here's for right, here's for up, here's for down, like that. So now when we reload this and we create a new tab, or my bad, when we create a new pane like this, we can change the focus by just using Alt. For example, here I want to move up, so it's Alt J or Alt L to go down. Oh my bad, Alt J or Alt K. Alt J, Alt K to go down, Alt J to go up, like that. Nice. Quit this. Then we can change the tab resize control like that by using map. It's basically the same as this, but we want to add control. So it's more accessible. Want to change the neighbor window to resize window. And then here we want to change left to narrower by 5. And this thing by wider by 5. This thing taller by 5 or shorter by 5. Like that. Nice. For example, we want to create a new pane here. Like that. Let's just change layout by using Control Shift L. And for example, here I want to move my focus to left, so H, and then I want to resize this to be like wider. I can just use Control Shift L, Control Alt L. Oh, my bad. Forgot to reload. You can just reload by using Control Shift F5, and then you can just do Control Alt L now to resize. To make it shorter, you can just do, for narrower you can do H, L for wider, H for narrower, J for taller. Even though taller doesn't really work as you intended because it's on the left one. Like that. And you can change the focus again. Here, for example, I want to change the focus to right. Then I want to change the height here. So okay, like that. Nice. Now we can control our tab. It should have been, my bad, it's not tab, it should have been panes. Wait, let's change that. Change our focus here. Change this name to. Now after we've done all of the pane, let's just do the tab. Since the tab is just like that in the bottom by default. We will make it more minimalist and move it to the top. tab bar style alignments. My bad, tab bar alignments. For the tab bar alignments, we can do a tab bar edge top to change the position from the bottom to top. I want to change the alignment as well. Left. You can also change it to like right or something, but I'm just going to leave it as to left. It's not mandatory. If you just want to change it to the top and be on the left, you can just remove this, but I'm just going to add this line in case I want to change the alignments. Then I want to change the tab bar style. Tab bar style here. I want to change for example here, the style that we're using now is fade. I want to change that to separator. So tab bar style, change this from fade to separator. Just like that. I want to also change the tab separator to nothing, because by default it's something like that. I want to change it to basically nothing. And then I want to change the tab title template to have some space before the title and after the title. Title like that, and then space after the title, and we're set. Then we can just save and reload the config, and it should look like this. Oops, this thing is a typo. Template like that, reload, and looks way cleaner. We will not touch stuff about like colors yet, because we will like do the theming after we learn about Bywall. So yeah, stay tuned for that video. So yeah, okay, that's it for this video. In the next video we'll talk about wallpapers. We will use Hyperpaper or SWWW as our wallpaper daemon. Thank you so much for watching. See you on the next video.